Hello and welcome to this video. I wanted today to talk about the jaw when we're speaking. And the jaw is so important in allowing us to access more clarity, more power, and more effortlessness in our speaking voice. But for many of us, we hold enormous tension in our jaw, which then can really hinder our voice because often in that case, we really don't open our jaw much at all. Or if we do open our jaw, it's just holding a lot of unnecessary tension and it becomes very tense and very uncomfortable. Now, before I talk about what we're aiming for with speech, just a little quick understanding of the jaw and how it moves, because it's really got two movements. First of all, it hinges, and it's what we call jaw in rotation. So it just hinges up and down. So we drop the jaw. Now, when it gets to a certain point, the jaw then starts to move forward, which is what we call jaw in translation. So it's like and it starts to move forward. So it's a kind of down and forward movement. Now, where we want to stay with speech is in that dropping range. We don't want it going into that jaw in translation, that jaw moving forward space, because actually when we start to live in that space, it can create a lot of tension in the neck, which is going to affect the larynx, but also it can put a lot of stress on the TMJ. So we want to stay in that dropping range of the jaw movement. And you can feel it for yourself. If you put your fingers here on the bulge, the masseter, you'll feel it drop, and then you'll feel where it starts to move forward. For a lot of people that I work with, they think they're opening their jaw and they're really not. So it's one of those things that when you then start to ask people to open their jaw more, it can feel a little bit exposing. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable. I don't mean physically uncomfortable, although it can be physically uncomfortable, but often it can just feel more exposed because you're opening your mouth more. But actually your mouth was never open much in the first place. So we're going to just do a little awareness exercise first of all to see if you can start to kind of get some sense of how much you open your jaw. So first of all, I don't want you to look in a mirror when you do this. I want this to be all your own perception of how much your jaw moves or doesn't move. And first of all, I just want you to comfortably drop your jaw. So what you would perceive to be a comfortable drop of jaw. And without overthinking it, then in your mind's eye, think about how many fingers drop that would be. Is it one finger, two fingers, three fingers? 1, 2, 3. Like how many fingers drop is that? Then you can go and stand in front of a mirror and have a look. So go and see how much your jaw has dropped and how much you thought your jaw had dropped. And in most cases, most people overestimate it. So they think it might be 3 fingers deep, but actually it's barely opened at all. And then they wonder why they're really not able to get the full potential of their voice out, because the voice is literally stuck. You know, we have to give the voice space to actually exit our body. And so if we're not opening our jaw and it's like this, it's very hard for any sound to come out. So that's a really good initial awareness exercise of what your perception is versus actually what's happening. Now, I just want to also preface all of this by saying, if you have any particular pain or discomfort when you're doing any of this, or you're aware that you have a history of problems with your jaw, please, don't do this. Just go and get things checked out and go and see a professional, go and see your dentist, just to find out what's going on, because we don't want to kind of niggle the jaw anymore. It's already quite a vulnerable part of the body. So now we're going to play around with dropping the jaw in speech. Now, as I said, we don't want to drop the jaw so much that it then starts to move forward. We want to keep it in that range of where it's just at hinging versus moving forward. So for most people, that will be around 1 to 2 fingers depth, roughly. But as I say, most people don't open their mouth anything like that. So this is a little exercise you can try. So I'd like you to first of all start with 1 finger and put it between your teeth. Now, because we're trying to remove excessive tension, what I don't want you to do is grip your teeth around your finger. You want to just hold your finger in place. So it's firm, but it's not tense. And then I'd just like you to say your name. My name is Anushka. And what you'll find is that your lips and your tongue have to work harder. Great. Then, if assuming that you don't have any unnecessary pain or niggles when you do that, then try 2 finger depth. My name is Anushka. And again, see how that feels. Then say it again without any fingers in your mouth. My name is Anushka. And notice how much more space you have, because you've started to kind of open the space up a little bit more. You started to create more space. And it's just a really, really great way to see the immediate effect of what opening the jaw, I say opening the jaw, dropping the jaw, can do to your voice. It's just suddenly the voice can come out, suddenly there's more clarity, suddenly there's more power. But as I say, we don't want to overdrop it, because then we go into the jaw in translation and we don't want to go that far. And also, just to preface this by saying, it's not that you have to drop your jaw with everything you say. It's just you want it to be kind of mobile and soft and moving versus clenched, squeezed, overly tensed and tight, which is where a lot of us are. And of course, we hold a lot of stress. When we're stressed and anxious, we tend to hold a lot of tension in our jaw as well. So just to be mindful of that. But I hope that's helped. Let me know how you go below and what you find. And I will see you in my next video.